Time now for Word of the Day, where we break down a financial term for our smart viewer, just not the expert. And today it is interest rate swap, especially as many U.S. municipalities entered into these swap agreements tied to the LIBOR rate in many cases, which is why we have seen so many stories like this. Banks face suits as states weigh LIBOR losses, or more states dig into LIBOR scandal. So since we're talking about LIBOR today, we thought it would be a good one to break it down. In addition, interest rate swaps are a large part of the over-the-counter derivatives market globally. So what exactly is an interest rate swap? Well, let's bring up the definition. It is an agreement between two parties where one stream of future interest payments is exchanged for another based on a specified principal amount. So an example of an interest rate swap is one where a party, such as a state, exchanges a payment linked to a variable interest rate, one going up or down, such as LIBOR, for a fixed payment. Now, in our example, let's say a city government is paying a variable rate on a loan. Okay, so this rate can go up or down. So the city might want to enter into an interest rate swap with a bank to mitigate the risk of it going up. So the city commits to a fixed rate, and it pays that fixed rate to the bank. It commits to that rate, and the bank agrees to a variable rate. Now, not all this money changes hands. I'm going to explain how this works as a hedge. So let's take a look at a chart that'll show that, because how it works is if the variable rate is below the fixed rate right here, you're going to have the city giving money to the bank, the difference. However, if the fixed rate is above the variable rate, you're going to have the bank crediting the city the difference. So the city can theoretically have that fixed rate it agreed to, because in theory, the differences that I just explained between the variable and the fixed rate agreed upon between the parties that are doing this swap, that difference plus the variable rate that the city or state is paying on their loan should amount to that fixed rate. Now, cities and states got into trouble as their borrowing costs soared during the financial crisis, yet the swaps they entered into as a hedge that were based on LIBOR paid substantially lower rates. So cities ended up having to make up the difference between these ever widening rates. Now, because so many municipalities entered into interest rate swaps, in some cases tied to LIBOR, it may take a long time for these cases, these lawsuits to play out. But now you know a little more about interest rate swaps.